Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be doing yet another project involving the $5 Windows 98 PC. And I'm really excited about this one because we're going to be taking a look at a Linux distribution today, specifically Red Hat Linux version 8.0. Now, if you guys missed a recent unboxing video, it'll be up in the cards right now. I was recently sent a second package of a bunch of software by a viewer named David, who also donated a lot of Windows Beta software a little while ago. And Red Hat Linux version 8.0 was one of those disks in that second package, and we're going to be installing it on the 98 PC today and seeing what it's all about. I've never used Red Hat Linux before, and I'm really excited for this. So Red Hat Linux, the very first non-beta version, which would obviously be 1.0, was released back in 1995, actually a few months before Windows 95 came out. And this was a commercial Linux distribution. As you could probably tell from this case here, it says evaluation. This was an evaluation copy because the full version was actually sold in stores and later made available for download online. Red Hat Linux 8.0 was released in 2002, and the very last version of Red Hat Linux specifically was version 9.0 in 2003. And afterwards, Red Hat killed off Red Hat Linux and focused solely on Red Hat Enterprise Linux, which was a separate product, and that is still around today. You can go and buy it online from their website right now if you want to. And the company Red Hat was acquired by IBM just 1 year ago in 2019, so today it is a subsidiary of IBM, which is pretty awesome. So just on the back here, it's going to give you some brief, like a listing of features here. The core components included. The full list of removed packages can be seen in the README on CD1 because there are 2 CDs in here. And it says this evaluation is not time limited. So we'll open this up here, and it basically lets you know, here's some information before you begin, how much hard disk space you need. So we need to have 1.5 gigs of hard disk space since we're doing this on a personal desktop. And you need to have a 400 megahertz Pentium class or better processor minimum. We have a Pentium 3 in here that's running at 600 megahertz. So we should be good there. And we have 512 megabytes of RAM, so we should be good on the memory as well. So without any further ado, let's pop in disk number 1 here to this computer's DVD drive, and we will get on with the installation. Alright everybody, so here we are in the initial setup wizard. So it says welcome to Red Hat Linux over here on the left side. This installation process is outlined in detail in the Red Hat Linux installation guide available from Red Hat Incorporated. I do not have a physical copy of that. I mean, maybe there's a digital copy. It says that, oh, there's also an HTML copy on the CD set. So if you've purchased an official box set, be sure to register your product through our website. Obviously, this is just an evaluation copy. So let's just click on the next button down here and get on with the installation. So we're going to choose English and US English for the keyboard layout. Now, it did detect that we do have a 3-button mouse. This is a, I mean, it's 2 buttons, but then you've got the scroll wheel, which is also a button if you press it down. So we're going to select, 3-button PS2 mouse. So you've got your installation types right here. You've got 4 of them, well 3 really, personal desktop, workstation, and server, or you could customize the settings individually by choosing custom here. So we're going to go with personal desktop because obviously that's fitting for this specific computer. But if you were installing this on a workstation or even a server, you could select those options, and obviously it would install some different components. For example, if you select server, you can choose whether or not you want a GUI. Because obviously, if you were setting up a server that you were just going to remote into via SSH, GUI wouldn't really be necessary for that specific use case. So, yeah, you've got those options here. You can also choose to upgrade an existing system if you were running version 7, for example. And now we're at the disk partitioning setup. So, we're just going to, I'd say we're just going to automatically partition. There's nothing on this hard disk right now. Unable to align properly, this probably means that another partitioning tool generated an incorrect partition table because it didn't have the correct BIOS geometry. It is safe to ignore, but ignoring may cause fixable problems with some bootloaders. In that case, to create all data on this drive would be lost. Yeah, that's fine. We're just going to erase everything. Now that I think of it, I did boot into gparted. I think I was trying to set up an NTFS partition to install Windows 98. Or actually, well, there's an HDA. Interesting. So maybe I wasn't installing Windows 98. But either way, we're just going to format the drive. So we're going to remove all partitions on the system, every single one of them. So we'll click on Next. You select to remove all partitions. Yes, that's fine. Grub bootloader will be installed on dev HDA. You can configure the bootloader to boot other operating systems. We're not going to bother with that since we're just going to install Red Hat Linux. And yeah, so we're going to have Red Hat Linux on dev HDA 2. And I think that's good. Let's click on Next. So it has detected our network adapter, the internal network card, which I have an Ethernet cable plugged into with the network switch that I mentioned in this recent studio upgrades video. We're going to just click Next since that looks great. So this is where you can specify firewall settings. I think we're just going to use default firewall rules, but if you wanted to allow incoming connections, like if you wanted to have this set up as a web server, you'd obviously want to allow HTTP connections to come in. You could do, FTP, SSH. We're just going to use default rules. And additional languages, just English. That's fine with me. We are in the Eastern time zone, so... And root password. So we're going to make the root password Michael. Actually, it would be helpful if I'm in the... Oh, I guess it just took a while for it to update. Michael. And do we want to create a personal account? Sure. We'll add a Michael account. And we'll just make it Michael. So there we go. So we've got a root account and a, just account for me to use. So we'll select Next. Alright, so it looks like we can modify some of the packages that we'll install with the personal desktop option that we selected before. So it's got the desktop shell set as the GNOME shell, OpenOffice for the Office suite, Mozilla, I'm assuming Firefox for the web browser, Evolution for the email client, instant messaging, sound video applications, and games doesn't have, I guess, well, it doesn't specify what the IM client is. We're going to actually customize it because I want to see what options it'll give us here. Okay, so here we go. Oh, we can get KDE. Honestly, I think I'm going to go with that. So can we, I guess we can uncheck GNOME, and yeah, we'll just get KDE because it's been a while since I've used the KDE desktop environment, and I actually really like it. Let's see what editors it has. So we've got Emacs and Vim Enhanced, so okay, we'll go with that. So yeah, these are all categories essentially, and then you can click on details to view the applications in that category. So this is the graphical internet category. Let's see what we got under Office and productivity. So we already had OpenOffice selected. You could get K-Office. Actually, we'll get K-Office. Why not? We'll get that and OpenOffice. Obviously, there are a lot of KDE applications which have the K prefix, so we could get KDE Fax Viewer, PostScript Viewer. Let's see. Let's get GNU Cache as well. I actually briefly used this program. It's like a finance program, as you could probably tell from the name. Sound and video. It has, yeah, 13 out of 23 packages in here already selected. So here you've got your server. So I believe this would be the, like, if you had selected at the very beginning customize or, custom settings instead of personal desktop, workstation, or server, it would just bring you to this screen automatically, because you can see that we have, like, for example, there's this whole server category here, even though we did not select the server option at the very beginning. So yeah, we got development tools, system, and so if you wanted to get everything, you could just check everything right here. If I selected everything, it'd be about 3 gigabytes in size, or 3.5 gigs. You know what? We're gonna do it. We're gonna get everything. We have the space for it. Let's do it. Click Next to begin installation of Red Hat Linux. So we'll do that. Here we go, installing packages. So it's currently formatting. Now there's obviously going to be a point where it will ask us for disk number 2. It should, at least, because I'm certain that all these packages are not going to be contained on disk 1. We're just going to let it install, guys, and I'll come back when something interesting happens. Alright, welcome back, everybody. So, it is asking us to insert disk number 2. I've got that right here, and we're going to go ahead and swap them out. Put in disk number 2, and hit on OK. So yeah, it looks like we are about halfway done. You can see there's that progress bar right there. It's the second progress bar on the screen, and it is, I'd say, about or exactly halfway done. So we just gotta let it finish up here, and we should have to reboot, and hopefully we'll be at the desktop. So I'll see you guys then. Alright everybody, so we've made it, and we're here at the boot diskette creation screen. It says it's highly recommended to create a boot disk, and it just says a boot disk allows you to boot your system if your bootloader configuration stops working. We're going to not bother doing this right now, and here's where we can configure the, it says graphical interface configuration. So it says in most cases the video hardware can be automatically detected. I'm pretty sure this is right. I do remember Intel 810 being, that sounds familiar. I'm pretty sure this is correct. This is just using the Intel integrated graphics. There's not a dedicated graphics card in this machine, though I'm hoping to be getting one of those soon. So that will make for a pretty fun video as well. It's found the monitor. It's just using the this DDC probed monitor configuration. That is the correct model number there. And yeah, I think 1024 by 768, 16-bit color. Actually, can we go to true color? We should be able to do true color. Congratulations, the installation is complete. Remove any installation media, diskettes, or CD-ROMs used during the installation. So we'll pop out disk number 2 here and set that back in the case. And we will click on exit, and we should restart and boot right into Red Hat Linux for the very first time. Oh, it's ejecting the CD-ROM again for us, so that's nice. Now, what I'm really interested in is seeing if it has the speakers configured properly. I do have the speakers plugged into the computer. So, okay, so here's Grub right here. We're just gonna press enter to speed up the boot process. But yeah, I'm hoping that we'll get sound and that we'll be able to browse the web, because it did, as you saw earlier, it detected the network adapter that I've got in here. Hi, welcome to the Red Hat Setup Agent. There are a few more steps to take before your system is ready to use. We're going to click on forward. Date and time, so it's got the, yes, this is the correct time. Actually, no, it's not. It's Wednesday, not Thursday, so it's a day ahead. We'll set it back to November 11th. Actually, we can enable network time. I wonder if this still works. Oh yeah, okay, we'll just use time.nist.gov. So this will be our network test here. Yep, that worked. Sound card configuration, here you go. Click play test sound. I mean, I have the speakers plugged into the, like, I've got the volume all the way up. And we're hitting play test sound and nothing's happening. So let me see. Okay, so I went ahead and plugged them into the dedicated sound card. And that doesn't seem to work either. You should hear a series of 3 sounds. The first sound will be in the right channel, the left channel, the third sound will be in the center. We might have to configure that. Well, let's just click on forward. We'll just configure that later on. Install additional software. So this is where you could, if you wanted to get more software that you didn't specify at the beginning of the setup, like during the initial installation process, you could add stuff here. You could also just add additional CDs that have software on them. So let's click forward. Congratulations, your Red Hat system is now set up and ready to use. We hope that you will have a pleasant computing experience. Alright, check that out. So we're here on the login screen. Welcome to localhost.localdomain. That is beautiful. So log in to my Michael account with our super secure password. Check that out. So here it is, guys. Red Hat 8.0 in all of its glory. Now, this right here, remember during the initial setup process, first I selected KDE instead of GNOME, and then I just got both of them. Well, this is GNOME right here. This is the default interface. So this is it in all of its glory. We can switch over to KDE and use that interface instead. We just have to log out. So we'll just do that. And on the login screen, you may have noticed it before, there is this little session menu down here. We can change that to KDE and then log back in. And it should prompt us, yes, we'll make KDE the default. And yeah, here we are. We're loading into KDE, and KDE is up and running. There you go. So it looks a little bit different, obviously. That is to be expected. And this is not anything like this is only unique to Red Hat. You can do this on like pretty much any Linux distro. Just install, you know, KDE or GNOME and then just, you know, use that interface when you log in. But yeah, so these are, I mean, we've got, like I said, every single package installed that was available. We can just kind of go through here a little bit. Now, I definitely want to go to internet and take a look at the web browser here. So let's figure out what web browser this is first of all. My guess is, I mean, it said it was Mozilla. Yep, at this point it was just called Mozilla. Firefox was not the name of it yet. So there you go. So we have the Mozilla web browser, we have the Mozilla email client. Now let's see if we can actually navigate to a website here. So let's go to osforms.net. Oh, search Netscape search. Check that out. Gosh. Mozilla and osforms.net cannot communicate securely because they have no common encryption algorithms. Yes, my website or my form site does use SSL, so it's not going to be able to communicate with it apparently. So how about we try theoldnet.com? There we go. Check that out. So yes, it does have a problem browsing the sites that use SSL. So the OldNet does not utilize SSL, so we can go on here. And if you haven't heard of this, I've done a whole video on it. You can go check it out. But yeah, we could go to, gosh, let's go to redhat.com. Redhat.com in 2002. 503 service unavailable. I'm pretty sure it is redhat.com. I don't think we can browse to Google because I think Google uses SSL. Oh no. Okay. So yeah, here's a little bit of an older version of the Google homepage. Let's go to Red Hat Linux or do a search for Red Hat Linux. And yeah, it is redhat.com. So I'm pretty sure that their website would have existed in 2004. So I guess that the way back, I mean, that's like a way back machine problem because it says, I mean, well, 503 service unavailable. Okay, let's try redhat.com in 2010. Nope, 503 service unavailable. How about Microsoft.com in 1997? Okay, so I'm guessing it's something with this web browser because this literally, this was no problem. I mean, I was able to browse using like Internet Explorer. Was it 5? On the Windows 98 PCs. I just noticed this screen. Welcome to an error again. I like that. It's up at the top there. Next thing we're going to do is try to get sound working. So we'll go to sound card detection, type in our root password. And okay, so this is exactly the same thing. Oh, there we go. It works now. Okay, so that's awesome. For whatever reason, it wasn't working before. Like during the initial setup. Maybe it didn't have the driver loaded properly, I'm not sure. So we got sound working, we have network working right out of the box. That is wonderful. Let's check out, I mean, we got a ton of programs on here, guys. Let's check out openoffice.org. Let's, you know, do some office work here. We'll open up openoffice.org Writer. Wow, openoffice.org 1.0. Gosh, this is like, yeah, version 1.0. Can you believe that? Process table opened up here. Oh, I was trying. Does Control Escape open up process table? It does. Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out if it like was able to use the Windows key on this keyboard to open up the menu here, which you can also do Control Escape, but that opens up process table. Okay, that's nice. So we'll close out of that. And here we go, guys. OpenOffice.org 1.0.1. Copyright 2002. Sun Microsystems. This was back when it was developed by Sun Microsystems before they were bought out by Oracle. Close out of this here. So, you know, hello world. I am typing this awesome document on OpenOffice.org 1.0 on Red Hat Linux 8. Boom. So we can save this. Let's save it to the desktop. And yeah, one of the nice things about Red Hat and, well, pretty much every Linux distro out there, you've got multiple desktops back in 2002, like way before Windows and Mac OS. We can go to desktop number 2 here and say we want to open up the spreadsheet program right here through OpenOffice. So yeah, we can make, you know, important finances. I don't know, do like whatever you want to do with your spreadsheets here. You can save this. And then, yeah, we can go back to our first desktop with OpenOffice Writer on it and swap between these. I really like having this little interface down here where you can just swap between desktops. It's just super cool. And it's honestly kind of ridiculous that Windows took forever. I mean, Windows 10 was the first version of Windows that had this feature by default. There were some other programs, even some Microsoft programs like the Power Toys in Windows XP that gave you this functionality back around this time, but it was not a standard feature in Windows until Windows 10, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, honestly guys, I could spend like 2 hours going through every single thing in here, but the purpose of this video was to install Red Hat 8.0 on the, oh my gosh, look at all the games. You see that? Gosh, there are a lot of games in here. But yeah, the purpose of this video was to install Red Hat on the 98 PC, and we have definitely succeeded in doing that. So hopefully you all enjoyed this episode. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to get subscribed down below and turn on those channel notifications if you haven't already to get notified whenever I upload a new video, which I do multiple times every single week on this channel. Huge thank you to David once again for providing me with this copy of Red Hat 8.0. And huge thanks to all of you guys for watching. And as always, I will see you all in the next video.